step-by-step description of creating a character sketch. Materials: HB2 pencil, hard soft. Eraser, A3 thick paper. The beginning of the sketch is building the head and base. Let's start by creating the basic shape of the character's head. Since his head is shaped like a tomato, draw a circle. For accuracy, you can draw it several times with light lines to get the perfect shape. Next, add small details. Leaves and a stalk on the top of the head. Then outline a vertical axial line dividing the head in half. This will help with facial symmetry. Add horizontal auxiliary lines, which will later help place the eyes, nose, and mouth. Building the torso. Draw the central line of the spine down from the head. Then form the torso. It narrows slightly at the waist and widens in the shoulder area. Outline the shoulder girdle and arm lines. Immediately draw the vest. Outline its upper edge and create the main folds of the fabric. Adding vest details. We continue detailing the vest. Add a collar, zipper, stripes, and pockets. Draw lines defining the volume of the vest. Constructing the arms. Let's move on to the arms. We outline the basic shapes using simple cylinders, then refine the muscles and clothing. We detail the gloves, draw the fingers, and small design elements. Constructing the legs. We draw the pelvic area, then add the hips, knees, and shins. We outline the folds of the clothes. We detail the trousers, adding belts and side pockets, shoes, and final lines of the body. We draw the boots, add laces, soles, and decorative elements. We refine the silhouette of the entire character, removing unnecessary lines with an eraser. Detailing the head and face. We move on to the eyes, mouth, and nose. We place them according to the auxiliary lines. We add emotions, a smiling mouth, expressive eyebrows. We refine the shape of the Before you started coloring the sketch, you chose acrylic paints and a thin brush, using water as a medium. This is a good choice, as acrylic dries quickly, and a thin brush allows you to detail the elements of the drawing. Judging by the painting, the sketch was done on thick paper, which holds up well to layers of paint. Starting with turquoise pants, I began coloring from the bottom of the drawing, choosing turquoise for the pants. This is a logical approach since the legs are a large area, and their development immediately sets the basis for the color composition. First, a base layer of turquoise was applied, creating an even coating. Then shadows and folds in the fabric were added, using darker shades and shading. Black lines over the paint emphasize the shape and create a comic-style effect. Coloring the hands. After working on the pants, you moved on to the hands. They are done in dark shades, these are gloves. Deep blues and blacks are used here. First, the base was applied, covering the surface evenly. Then details were added, such as the folds on the gloves and the contour lines, returning to the legs and detailing the boots. After the hands, I returned to the lower part of the body again, this time to the boots. They are painted in blue and black, which creates a sense of futuristic footwear. It is important to note that I used gradient transitions between the colors, which adds to the realism. The boots are detailed with lines imitating seams and texture of the material. The next step was to paint the torso. I used dark shades with turquoise stripes, creating the effect of textured armor. A base layer of dark blue was applied. Then turquoise lines were drawn to give volume. Small details, such as the belt, chest badge, and shoulder pads, are added on top of the base layer. Then I moved on to the most striking element, the character's head. It is pink with black details and a funny mustache. A smooth pink base coat is applied. The eyes, mouth, and mustache are drawn with a thin brush. The green element on the head adds an interesting accent. Final detailing and background. After completing the character, you added the background. The yellow color creates a lighting effect. The dark elements at the bottom add depth. The bright pink sphere in the upper right corner creates balance in the composition. I chose the method of successive coloring, starting with large elements and moving to details. The use of contour lines, shadows, and bright colors made the drawing expressive. If you want, I can give you tips on improving the technique. Critical analysis of the work. General concept and style. The painting is done in an expressive style with elements of comic graphics. The character is distinguished by bright colors and an unusual design that combines futuristic elements of the costume with a grotesque face. The work makes a memorable impression due to the combination of rich colors and clear contours. What is good? A unique character that combines elements of science fiction and caricature, clear contours and careful use of color. Good detailing of the costume, especially the pants, boots, and chest armor. What can be improved? Perspective and anatomy are slightly distorted, especially in the area of the arms and body proportions. The background is not detailed enough and looks more random than meaningful. The lighting of the character does not quite match the environment. Color palette and contrast. I used saturated colors, which made the work expressive. The combination of turquoise and dark blue in the costume with a bright pink head. Pros, good contrast between the suit and the head. The use of black outlines emphasizes the comic book style. The bright pink color of the head attracts attention. Cons. The background seems random in color and does not interact with the character. Some parts of the character, such as the hands, blend into the surrounding details. The bright pink sphere in the corner distracts from the main character. Its meaning is not entirely clear. Recommendations. Add a more thoughtful color harmony between the character and the background. Make the background more detailed and coherent. Add shadows and gradients to make the figure look more voluminous. The composition is focused on the character, but the pose looks a little unnatural, and the perspective lines are confused. What's good? The figure is located almost in the center, which makes it the main focus. The dynamism of the pose creates the effect of movement. The use of lines helps create a sense of space. What could be improved? The character's pose could be made more natural. Currently, the arms and legs look slightly disproportionate. The background lines look random, not creating a unified perspective. The lighting on the character does not match the intended light source. How to fix? Refine the character's pose by using more anatomically correct proportions. Make the background more logical by adding perspective lines and details of the environment. Identify the light source and add shadows that match it. Technique and detailing. I used acrylic paints with water, which allowed me to get even colors and brightness. However, in some places, the detailing could be better. Pros, good clarity of lines. Interesting textures on the suit. You can see the work with details. For example, folds in the fabric, the emblem on the chest. Cons, in some places, the paint was unevenly applied. The head seems to be drawn more roughly compared to the lack of shadows makes the character a bit flat. How to improve? Use different shades of the same color to create depth. Add more subtle details on the face and costume. Work on the smoothness of the gradients. Final assessment and recommendations. The picture turned out bright, memorable, and stylish. It has artistic expressiveness, but some points can be improved. Color and contrast. Add a more thoughtful background and distribute accents. Anatomy and pose. Make the movements more natural, the proportions more balanced. Lighting and shadows. Add shadows to create volume. Detailing. Work on the smoothness of color transitions and improve the elaboration of the face. Overall, the work is interesting and has good potential, especially if you improve the details and perspective.